Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Hi.
Welcome. Oh, sorry, Vino. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was just going to welcome everyone out to the post Halloween episode of our podcast.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, 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 hey. You gotta do it more service than that. You gotta call it like the Thanksgiving episode or something, because we're
Technically
getting close.
speaking, the Halloween episode was the post-Halloween episode.
I guess it was when you think about it.
Because that that one was my fault. I got my Wednesdays mixed up.
So this is
And the one
definitely
right before Thanksgiving. This one won't be turkey themed, though, I don't think.
I don't think, yeah.
This will go live when December starts to give you
Oh,
give
goddamn.
you
So, like, Jesus
background
Christ.
curtain as I've pre-recorded these. Because this will go live on the should go live on the 2nd of December.
To be fair, I still have to make that thumbnail for you for the bomb thing.
Oh yeah, that might be up by the time you're listening to this podcast, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, but it's weird having this massive discrepancy because, like, technically, given when this is gonna come out, we could like start talking about Christmas-related shit, even though it feels like Halloween was just like a few weeks ago.
Like the next recording is like it's like the Thanksgiving just ended, but it's also gonna be when like Halloween, not Halloween, Christmas is when it comes out.
Yeah,
Very true.
Jesus Christ. I know I do this bit every single time, but do we have to say who we are every time? Is that like a thing that we got to keep doing? Because if you think about it, if a person is watching episode whatever the fuck this is, like 7, 8, they've probably seen the other ones and they probably know who we are by
But
now.
what if it's the
But-
first episode?
Yeah. I think you
Yeah.
can keep introductions brief. Hey, I'm Trevor Fox. I'm a cartoonist.
That's a good point. Hi, I'm Mallardant, Mal, and I'm also a cartoonist slash general artist slash I draw degenerate things on the internet. Hi, who are you, Vino?
Hi, I'm Vino. I am neither of those things. Instead, I write and produce video content, which I actually like made tutorials for like, cause at the time I was going, this Call of Duty's like the new Black Ops, Call of Duty Cold War was like, fuck, like maybe less than a week old, and there were like bad tutorials up there, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own. And because so many people like fucked up theirs, mine are doing pretty well.
Hey, so go
Good.
check out Vino's Cold War videos.
Hey, if you want to learn how to do things in the game, you can do that. It's JPEG. I don't know if that'll show up on a YouTube search though.
Specifically, it's for zombies.
Yes, I should mention that because I like the multiplayer. I have not cared about a Call of Duty campaign since Modern Warfare 2.
Hey, that's about when the campaign started falling off and getting like redundant and very samey.
Very much. So you had thoughts about the Cold War campaign because you've been playing it.
I did. So my first major complaint I want to talk about is there is some severe dumb fuckery going on when they make a goddamn single player campaign online only.
I actually didn't know that. It's so dumb.
There is no online activity for the single player campaign. And the only reason I know this is a problem is because I was in the middle of a mission and my internet cut out for a second. I got kicked out of the entire game because my internet dropped. Single player.
God.
So, like, the only reason why I think companies are doing this nowadays, at least that this is my interpretation of it, it's for DRM purposes, so people can't pirate the game. If it's always online, then like you gotta buy it pretty much. I mean, that's the only justification that I can think of.
Yeah, I think it's a very poor justification because pirates will crack it anyway, and then they have a better version of the game that doesn't fuck over the customers.
Right. Yeah, well, like the thing is, like, here's the thing: if it's all online only, it's very hard to get around that. It's like you didn't see people talking about, oh man, we pirated or we cracked Anthem. No, you never saw that because that was like an online.
I
game.
also I think no one wanted to pirate Anthem.
Oh, yeah, that too. That too. Well, I did.
Okay.
See, I actually did. And I'm like, holy crap! I get to play as Iron Man. This is so cool. And then that was cool for about 3 hours, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of tired of shooting things, and yeah, then I stopped playing.
I just can't believe how unbelievably short-sighted it is too. Maybe this is hard for younger people to understand, but online servers are not going to be around forever. Even if it feels like something is really popular and very well received now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be around. And when something is always online, you're fucked. If like those servers go down, the company moves on, or when it does become inactive, you can't access it anymore.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I'm someone that really loves replayability in games.
Hmm.
Now, that leads to some other problems I have with Black Ops Cold War. There is some replayability, but there's not a lot. So, is anyone here familiar with like the story campaign for Black Ops?
For Black Ops, yes. Cold War, not so much.
Okay.
That'd
Now,
be a negative. I thought the story of the games is pretty much just there's terrorists here, you gotta kill them.
No, now
And
it's
then there's
communist.
terrorists here, and oh no, the terrorists blew up a thing, and you have to. That's how I always perceived it as like an outsider looking in.
you're not entirely wrong.
Really not.
Like, so I like Call of Duty because I can get into an action movie, and Call of Duty is kind of like an action movie. I don't want to play it all the time, but sometimes I really want to sit down and just enjoy that.
Right.
It's definitely got its place. Now, Vino, fill me in on anything that I might not know, because my extent of the story is I know the story from Black Ops 1 roughly. It's been years, so it might be a little outdated. I tried Black Ops 2 and never finished it because it put me in an RTS section, and I'm like, well, I'm done. This is a shitty RTS. I'm not dealing with this. And then Black Ops 3, I played like the first level and then just never played it again. And then Cold War, I'm like, wow, this looks really cool, and the zombies mode looks fun. I want to get back into it. So, in Black Ops 1, you play as Mason,
Yes.
who is this soldier. And you find out over the course of the game that he's actually, what's the term they use for it? He's basically a spy for the Russians, but he doesn't know that he is because they brainwashed him. And whenever he's around a certain person or a certain phrase is said, it activates his hypnosis, and then he'll try to assassinate someone in power. What time period does that take place in, Vino? Do you remember?
I want to say it's like around Vietnam War.
Yeah, I think it is because you play in Vietnam in that game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's around that kind of general era.
Okay, so that whole first game is about, you know, Mason trying to overcome his brainwashing and trying to fight back, and you're trying to take out a terrorist who was responsible for that.
Yeah.
It was not my favorite story, but it was really interesting. It did something different with Call of Duty. So you had like Infinity Ward's Call of Duty and then Activision's Call of Duty, both kind of running at the same time.
Yeah.
And they took the franchise in slightly different directions. Like Infinity Ward was the Modern Warfare series, and then Activision's still took place in the past some, and they tried to make it more character based, I guess, with how the story was delivered. Then they had the zombie modes.
Yeah.
So we get to Cold War, and it's really weird because the game splits you between playing as Mason from the first game and your own created character who is a self-insert. I'm not even kidding. It's supposed to be a self-insert. So you play as Mason at the beginning, and then they make you fill out this like character sheet with their pre-selected answers. So you choose like your name, your sex, where you're from, and then like 2 little perks to help your character. And I'm like, oh yeah, reload speed and extra health. Why would I want anything else here? So you make your character, and you play through most of the game as them. Sometimes you'll play as Mason in missions, but you're mainly playing as your new character. And they have like these like little hub missions in between the main missions where you can kind of talk to people, but I don't know. I guess it's supposed to build camaraderie with the group that you're supposed to be working with.
Hmm.
But it's not fleshed out enough to do that. You don't really see most of these people on the mission. You don't really get to know them that well. It's more of just like this little banter that does add a little bit. I won't lie. It's not where it needs to be.
Hmm.
Well, like I'm kind of like I guess it's kind of ruined for me the illusion because whenever I play a game like that and like, oh yeah, these are your friends. Like this guy is like the quirky one. This guy's the serious one, or the whenever I start seeing this, I'm like, okay, yep. You're just getting me acquainted with these characters, so 1, 2, or all of them can die, and then it's supposed to punch me in the gut. So like, I'm already thinking like, okay, here we go, guys.
Well, I'm going to say this spoiler for the campaign for anyone that doesn't want to know. This is the only warning you get. That doesn't happen. They don't die.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, you're like the head of your group is like you were brought into this team because we need your expertise. You're really good at this. It's a character you made and he's talking directly to you. It is a self-insert, but I didn't really have a problem with that. It's like, okay, my character is good. They're a spy. They need me for the mission. Like, I'm going to go on these missions. The missions themselves play out very much as like, it's so basic bitch, man. Back when Call of Duty 4 came out, that was the first Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
They changed up the gameplay formula a lot, and it was really good. I think a testament to how good it is that Call of Duty is still using that same formula.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing what they did.
Oh, for sure.
And Modern Warfare 2 continued that, and Modern Warfare 3 is still good, but that one is where it kind of started falling into the samey category.
Yeah.
They were reusing stuff from the first Modern Warfare game. It's like, oh, here's the mission where you follow behind the guy, stuff like that.
Right.
And the problem is, like, Call of Duty has kind of been stagnant like that ever since, and it really shows in Black Ops. Like, they do a lot of the whole gimmick stuff where it's like, here's that item that you use once that you'll never see again, like this exploding RC car. Here's like a section where you take control of one of the giant planes in the sky that can rain hellfire down on the enemies below. It's like, it covers all of here's the turret section.
I think one of the things that, like, the campaign, and it's kind of consistent throughout, like, all the Call of Duties, is, like, they introduce that with the, like, goal of you use it in the campaign, and then you go into multiplayer, and then you can use that in the multiplayer. So, like, it's, like, kind of an artificial way to, like, push people into multiplayer, because that's, like, what the big, like, moneymaker is.
It's just disappointing because it doesn't really stand out in the campaign at all. It doesn't really add anything to it there.
Yeah.
And you also have, like, your mission. Like, every fucking Call of Duty since Modern Warfare has had this. It's the mission where you go in with someone and they're like, hey, we have to infiltrate this compound. Look at those guards down there. You shoot first and I'll take out the other one. Okay, now that you've got those, move ahead. Hold up. There's someone coming out of the building ahead of you. Okay, use this and take him out. All right, they're on my tail, so I gotta head out. You be careful and sneak in. Then you, like, sneak past 3 guards in a minute. You just have to figure out their patrol route. And then you move on, and then the guy's back with you, and he's like, okay, follow me. And you just follow him some more. You can't go through certain doors. The NPC has to open the doors for you.
So, like, it feels like it's on rails.
Yeah,
Pretty much
like,
is, yeah.
I don't have a problem with linear levels, but Call of Duty really handholds you through a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it feels, it's not just that the level itself is linear, it's that it feels like someone is forcing you down that path. Especially when there are side areas to look around so you can try and get stuff, and someone's like, hey, we need to move. Come on. What are you waiting for? Hey, we're going after this guy. Are you coming or not? Like, oh,
It's like real life.
It's so annoying because there's no time limit, and it's this artificial sense of urgency.
I guess they're just trying to simulate real life, because I guess if you were really on a mission, it would be like, get in, get out. But at the same time, it's like you got to walk a line because it's a video game, and you want to encourage your players to explore a little bit, go off the rails. And I don't know. I guess it's about striking that balance, and it's really interesting to see what it wound up playing out as here.
Especially
well, see, that's what's...
Like,
sorry, Fino, go ahead.
Like, especially with Colo in particular, because the campaign has like a lot of like small like Easter eggs or stuff like hidden in, like stuff from like old games, there's stuff from like old Zombies mode, old Call of Duty campaigns that kind of hidden in the background that you can look for. But if you're being rushed, then you lose the incentive to look for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like it's at odds with itself. So
the one thing I was going to say is the fact that if you make it that linear, basically what you're doing is this is now a shooting gallery with extra steps, pretty much.
Speaking of that, I don't feel like there's enough blood in the game.
Really?
So Call of Duty has added this thing in, and I don't know which Call of Duty added it in, but it's called hit markers.
That was Black Ops 4, I believe.
Was it that added hit markers in? I think I might have seen
they've been actually no. I think it might have been Call of Duty 4 actually. I was thinking of zombie hit markers for some reason. I think it was either Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 1.
Yeah, I don't remember. It could have been either of those, yeah. But I thought the hit markers have gotten worse. So basically, the idea of a hit marker is sometimes, like, if you're hitting an enemy at long range, it's really difficult to tell if you actually like hit them or not, or if they're down. So the solution to that is to add these like little ticks. There are these little these little white lines that pop up whenever you get a hit. And if you get a kill, the lines are red. And it's just a way to indicate to the player, like, hey, you actually did hit this person. Hey, now that person's down and you don't have to worry about them. But in Cold War, like, it gives you the option to turn those off and the audio for them off, too. It makes this little thunk sound whenever you get a hit. It's very satisfying to hear. But I turned both of those off. And the game is awful. The conveyance is terrible without them. There's no blood flying up whenever you hit someone, or if there is, it's very minuscule and inconsistent. Sometimes there's blood on the wall, sometimes there's not. There's no sound of the bullet hitting an enemy. You just shoot and they go, ah! And that can mean that they're dead, or it might mean that they're hurt. So, like...
It's kind of funny, because you have the whole thing you're talking about where the NPCs are like, get a move on, hurry up. And then also, you don't know for sure if you got a kill. I guess that's a lot more like real life in a way. That's the only thing I can say to the game's credit.
But the only problem is, I wish that there was a more satisfying impact of like the bullets hitting, or maybe like a blood spray, or just something that you could see that would visually indicate it other than just the hit markers.
Right.
And so I was talking about the linear levels. Most of the game plays out like that. It forces you down that path too much, where they're throwing ideas at you, but it's not really landing. They're just kind of shoving you down it. But I was still interested in the story. I wanted to see where it was going. We knew from the story, we knew that the bad guy, who's he's a bad Russian guy. He had stolen a nuke from America, and we're trying to get it back from them. You
A
find out
singular nuke.
a singular nuke. However, you find out along the way that America had this plan at the start of the Cold War because they were scared of what Russia might do. So they planted nukes all over Europe, like secretly. Your team didn't know about this. You actually find this out from like downloading the secret data from a Russian base. And your team gets like rightfully pissed at this, and then like you find out that the bad guy doesn't want to detonate a singular nuke. He got these scientists to figure out the code to activate it, which would also activate all of the other ones, I guess. That's how they play it off. So he's going to detonate all the nukes across Europe and blame it on America while he's safe in a bunker somewhere.
So I'm still confused. Why would America plant nukes all across Europe?
It was to try to prevent like a Russian invasion or something.
That seems really, really sloppy. Like from a writing standpoint, that would never happen.
So I'm enjoying the story though. For the most part, it's fun, and then you find out. Well, okay. So first, before this, I'm getting ahead of myself. Your character, even though it's a self-insert, like your character is just kind of like there. They give you a few options to say to people that can be a little sarcastic, but it's all been in good fun and humor. Then they make your character go full fanboy, and I'm like, what? So you can talk to Mason from the first game and Woods, who is also from the first game. He's kind of like the asshole soldier that you get like a really close companionship with.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk to both of them, and one of the options to choose is, man, you guys are both legends. It's so amazing to work with both of you. And I'm like, why would my character say that? Why would my specially trained MI6 undercover secret agent start fanboying about this?
Well,
That
did it
doesn't
make
make
you say
any
that?
sense. Huh?
Did it make you say that?
No, it didn't make me say it, but like the way I play video games, and this is why I hate dialogue trees, is I like to explore my options. I like to see what options are available. If I say this, what will happen? If I say this, what will happen? The dialogue trees in this game don't really matter because you can just cycle through all of them. And I'm just naturally curious. I like to see what will happen if I select stuff. So I'm like, I select that. And they're like, hey man, you hear that? We're fucking legends. I'm just like, what is this? You have ruined my immersion and taken me out of this game.
Well, see, I can't really fault them so much for that because it was a dialogue option. If it was like, no, your character has to say that, I'm like, whatever. Because some people might not really care about like the immersion of the game. They might just be like, oh, hey, cool, it's these other characters from the other game. I wonder what happens if I like fanboy. I'm fine because the game gives you an option, and I think giving players options is pretty much always a good thing.
I don't disagree with that. It just hit wrong.
It's like at the end of the day, it's just Treyarch patting themselves at the back for making these characters. That's what bothers me about it.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating too, because you do play as Mason during some of the game, just not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to backtrack a little bit, really quick.
Yeah.
So, most of the missions are linear, but there are 2 side missions, and I really like how you have to do that. So, they give you these side missions really early on, and they're like, hey, these are some side missions to go on. And it warns you before you start them, make sure you have all the evidence and you've selected the right answer before you go on it, or your intel might be wrong and you can fail the mission. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. That encouraged me to look for secrets in the main levels, which also exacerbated how frustrated I was getting with my partners never shutting the hell up while I'm trying to look for shit. But the what's the word? The puzzles. The puzzles to figure out the side mission, they're not anything super cryptic or amazingly hard, but I didn't know how to approach some of them, and I wanted to look up. I'm just like, how do I start this? How do I like attempt to approach this? Because I got all the evidence I needed. One of them I solved on my own. The other one, I had to look up how to do it, and I found out something cool. The puzzles actually change every playthrough, so the answer will not be the same for when you play. Now, I don't know if there's a set number of predetermined answers or anything, and the game just hasn't been out long enough yet.
Right.
But that was really cool, and it made sure that I didn't ruin the puzzle for myself. I still had to figure out how to do it. So I did that, beat the 2 side missions, and was successful on both of them. But the problem is, there's only 2 of them. The rest of the game is just normal. And that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, because from what I gather, from what I've like heard through other people, is like the campaign, like it's just like mostly enjoyable, but like it's just there's not like a whole lot of like ultimate like things to do with it once you're done with it.
Yeah, like the thing that stood out the most were those puzzles. Everything else just kind of, it's like what was memorable. Well, I guess this one level where I actually had to try to plant evidence on someone was memorable, and everything else felt like Call of Duty, and nothing stood out.
Yeah, well, what you're describing, Trevor, is exactly why I didn't have an interest in the game to begin with. Because I'm like, it's just another Call of Duty game. Who fucking cares? You know, I'm gonna shoot some terrorists, or I'm gonna shoot some Russians. You know, it's like yeah, it's like basically a shooting gallery with more sparkly colors and blood splatter and. Yeah.
Worse than Vegas. Okay, so the end of the game, they make you like your character fanboys, and then your character gets hurt, and they're like, "No, we need him. He's so important. We've got to extract this information." So it turns out this was the big twist. Your character actually used to work for the Russians. And it was sort of a reverse twist from the first game, where in the first game you found out that Mason was like hypnotized by the Russians. This time you're a Russian and you've been hypnotized by the CIA. They planted false memories in your brain taken from one of your team members so that you could build camaraderie with them and try to help them stop the evil bad guys. So they did something quote unquote bad so that you could stop the bad.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be like a morally gray area, but I don't think it's written well enough to be, because the options at the end are you let the bad guy detonate all of the nukes and destroy Europe, or you stop him.
And I'm just like, there's no middle of the road.
No, it's like, tell us where he is, and you can lie or you can tell them the truth. And it's like, okay, I don't really feel betrayed by my team, though.
Yeah, it's like, I even, aside from what your character has gone through, quote unquote, you're basically being asked a question. Okay, fuck everything. Fuck your background. Do you want tens of millions of people to die? Yes or no? And it's like, of course you fucking don't. Like, forget all the brainwashing. The question comes down to, in the end, do all the nukes go off in Europe? That's such a stupid question. It's like they were trying to make it like I said, like a morally gray question. Like, you know, it's hard to decide. It's hard to, you know, make a right call. No, there's only one right answer. It's the one that doesn't result in millions of deaths. You know?
Right. Now, I will say, I am super curious as to what the bad ending is. I want to go back and see that. but like in the moment, like for my first playthrough, I'm like, it's not really a hard decision here.
And it's almost like a contradiction too, because like when you have Mason, it's clearly like the Russians are the bad guys. It was evil for them to brainwash, you know, Mason. It was terrible, whatever. But then when the CIA does it, it's like, oh, it's a morally gray question. Was it right? Was it wrong? It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. It was wrong in both cases.
Right, yeah. And so the ending of the game, Mason takes you out to this place and he's like, it's not personal. I just want you to know that. And he pulls a gun on you to kill you because he's tying up Lucian. Or not Mason. Mason doesn't do that. I'm sorry, I said Mason. It's oh crap, what's his name? He was like the head of your little group in the game. I can't remember his name.
Weaver?
He had sunglasses. He looks a lot like Master Miller from Metal Gear Solid.
I want to say that's Weaver. I could be wrong, though.
He's got like a scar on his face.
Yeah, I'm
Does he
pretty sure that's Weaver.
sound
Then.
like Duke Nukem whenever he
Okay.
talks to you?
But like he goes to kill you and your character pulls out a gun too, and then it cuts to black and that's the ending. And I'm like, well, I'm the self-insert character. Obviously it's canonical my character dies. And it felt like the only reason they had a self-insert character was so that they could do this story and then kill someone off that didn't matter. Because like there's no fucking way they're killing Mason off.
I mean, technically they couldn't because he was in Black Ops 2, so like they couldn't kill him off.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it feels weird.
Yeah.
So
Like-
that is my rant about the campaign, and like it sucks, man, because I really like some of it, but it goes way too hard into stereotypical Call of Duty stuff without trying to be its own thing, and it railroads you too hard.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Again, not to sound like a nihilist, but what you described there was exactly what I was worried about, and it's exactly why I don't play Call of Duty games.
Well, here's the thing. We've riffed on the Cold War campaign, which is I haven't played it, but from what Trevor said, it seems very.
I have enjoyed playing zombies with Dino though.
Treyarch, I don't think I've. Black Ops 1 was fine, but for the most part, I haven't really enjoyed a Black Ops campaign like the Treyarch ones. That being said, the only reason I ever buy Treyarch Call of Duties, which are all the Black Ops, because of zombies. Because zombies is such a fucking fun game mode, and I will say Cold War has one of, if not potentially the best zombies we've ever seen. It is like vastly different from like previous installments, but I think in a good way, because like they made changes in a way to where like old players aren't like alienated, but new players can like enjoy the experience. Because like some of the zombies maps, some of the earlier ones, shit was like you needed like a fucking like Google Doc to just tell you how to do like a basic step. It's just getting set up on the map. But like with this one, it like holds your hand for like the two like main things being power and pack punch, and then after that you're all on your own. And I think the difference between like campaign and zombie gameplay particular wise is zombie is like they're like known for like having like a bunch of like kind of like Easter egg stuff, while like you do certain parts like steps on the map and like you'll get rewarded. So like it encourages like thinking outside the box and like exploring, and that's an aspect of it I think is really good.
Yeah, for me, the way I work is as far as like first-person shooters is like a genre. There always has to be an and what I mean by that is, okay, I like I like that kind of gameplay, whatever, like first-person shooting, but
Right.
that's not enough to make me want to really stick with the game. It's a first-person shooter and it's got a phenomenal story. It's a first-person shooter and it does something that's different, something that stands out, from most shooters in like a really significant way. Not in like a, oh look, we have more guns, or oh look, we have like it has to be something really distinct.
Right.
And I think in general kind of sums up why I don't play Call of Duty games. Like the Call of Duty games that have really, really good stories, if you can point me in the direction of those, I would consider it because that might be enough to get me to play them.
Those should be in Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare had a really good story. Like 1, 2. 3 was a little weak, but it was still pretty good. But Modern Warfare 1 and 2, those stories were actually good.
That's a pretty good trilogy.
Yeah.
I would recommend that to anyone.
And they recently remastered. If you don't want to look at 2012 graphics.
Though Modern Warfare 2 still holds up pretty freaking well.
Yeah, that game's. I still think it's the best Call of Duty. I have so many hours in that game. So
yeah, I might play it then because that's the main thing for me. If you can grab me with a good story, not like the shit you're talking about, Trevor, with Cold War, then I'm there.
Yeah, Call of Duty's campaign. It was really after Modern Warfare the campaign, so it's kind of in a downward spiral. Like Black Ops 1 was fine, Modern Warfare 3 was okay, but then after that it was kind of sloppy.
You have to understand where the state of the Call of Duty and war games were in general in that time too, because all the war games were all about World War II. You had like 3 different Medal of Honor games that took place in different parts of World War II. Then you had Call of Duty, like the first 3 took place in World War II, and Medal of Honor was more of like you're a one-man army, and Call of Duty was more like you're a person and you have to work with your team.
Right.
Modern Warfare was a step in the new direction where they actually gave you regenerating health and stuff, made it faster paced, and set it in the modern day.
Yeah. And then they went to like the future in space for some reason.
Mount stepped away. I just saw that. I'm sitting here explaining stuff to him. He's going to have to watch the podcast to find out now.
He's got to listen to find out what happened. But yeah, I hated all like the futuristic Call of Duties. I will say Black Ops 3, I gave 2 fucks about the multiplayer, 2 fucks about the single player, but that zombies mode was really good, and it was probably the most valuable because like for $30 you got the base game and all of the old zombies map in just one like DLC bundle. It was like $30. Very good deal. And it was very fun. And I'm gonna buy it on PC eventually once Cold War's kind of over. The new hotness is Cold War, and zombies. It's unlike all the other years. Like the DLCs, it's all gonna be free, which they've had to pay every time and up until this point. So like it's super exciting because no one's gonna get like alienated out of like not being able to play on certain maps because they don't have the DLC. That's very exciting because like usually like the base map of like a Call of Duty, it kind of like lays the groundwork, and like it's like usually like the basic map of like okay, this is how the game works, and then after that it's when it starts like doing more ideas. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Usually it works pretty well. Like I think pretty consistently, with the exception of Black Ops 4, every first DLC was like one of the best maps of that game. So I'm very excited to see what they do. I know they said they're gonna add new zombies mode, which I'm also interested in. They haven't said what, but it's gonna get added. But I'm just excited because like zombies content wise usually gets like the shaft and just like it's just okay, here are your maps, go have fun. But like they're actually like giving modes, giving updates, like.
Well, I'll admit, being able to play zombies with you is what makes it not feel like a complete wash with getting the game. And honestly, it's also part of the reason I bought it. I'm like, oh, Vino has this. I could get this and play some zombies with them. That would be fun.
Yeah, zombies is super addicting to me. Like, it feels weird to call it a roguelike, but like it is in like it's a really weird way. But like, I don't know why I like it so much. It's just, it's fun. It's just like because I like co-op experiences. Even playing it on solo is fun because it's just. The thing I love about zombies, especially this zombies, is there's so much replayability in the fact that you can come in with any gun you want. You can upgrade your perks, you can upgrade the field upgrades. There's 4 different field upgrades, and like every gun, like if you upgrade it to like the max level, like it's viable in any round. So like, because beforehand it was just like there were like 3-4 guns that like you had to use, otherwise they'd stop killing zombies like at round like super early, like a super early round. But now, because of the changes to the system, you can just take in any gun and do good with it. And that was like a big point they made. I have to burp. Give me a second. I'm sorry. Excuse me. And like when they were like announcing zombies, like a point they made is like we're gonna make it so like you can go in with any gun you want, and you'll be able to go to as high as around you want with whatever guns you want. And they very much succeeded. There was a perk in the older Call of Duties that I really hope they add, where you could carry 3 guns, but if you went down, you lost the 3rd gun. If you lost the perk, rather, not if you went down. I do hope they added that back in, because, like, where it stands now, you, like, always want to have, like, the wonder weapon, the die shockwave, or whatever variant of it, and just some a random gun, but, like, you can kind of have more customization if you add in, like, a 3rd gun slot, which I really hope they added. That's, like, my one wish.
I've definitely got to play it more so I can level up and be on par with you. So there you go, folks. You got the 2 sides to Cold War. You got the shitty side and you have the great side.
It's hopefully only going to get greater, because the guy who's, like, in charge of zombies, he, like, did, like, before, like the best, like, widely, like, he worked on, like, what are widely considered to be some of the best maps in the series, so, like, it's, like, the director, it's in very good hands, making it very more exciting that everything's gonna be free, and just a really fucking good... I'd pay $60 for zombies alone, honestly. This is how much I love it.
Don't give them ideas.
Like, if they
Guys, we've been talking so long about COD Zombies. This is supposed to be the Thanksgiving fucking episode.
No, it never was. This is the Call of Duty episode.
Call of Duty. We're thankful for Call of Duty. There you go. Call of Duty
Yeah,
Zombies.
yeah,
in
there we
particular.
go.
That's a stretch. But okay. Man.
And
All I
this-
can really say to this shit, though, is just like, hey, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good, too. That also sounds good. Yeah.
Before we exit the Black Ops, just since we talked about all the other modes, just a quick start on multiplayer. It's okay, but not great. That's the multiplayer review. Warzone is the
I
same
haven't
thing as last
touched
time.
it.
You could do worse, I guess.
It's like, it's far from the worst Call of Duty. It could be Call of Duty Ghost, but it's not. Nowhere close to Black Ops 2, though, but it's passable. It's only 6 maps, though. Anywho, that's Call of
Okay,
Duty
well,
Black Ops review.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, let the turkeys have some time in the sun, Vido. I was gonna ask a very relevant question to the season. Okay. So are you guys gonna be doing anything for Thanksgiving, given the current global crisis? However the heck. Can you even say it with and we're not monetized, so it doesn't matter. I guess we can call it whatever.
It will technically take it out of the algorithm, that even though we're not even in the algorithm yet to begin with.
Oh, okay.
Is it? I forgot that that's a thing. That's so stupid. But I haven't thought about it, and I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I also... Probably just me and my family that I live with, and along with my aunt, who my mom works with. I'm just gonna, like, probably eat, if anything at all. I don't even know.
Yeah, like what my family's doing is I'm just driving back home, and it's just gonna be me, my immediate family, and I think like a family friend. That's it. Like we're not inviting anybody over. It's just, yeah, it's like it's gonna be like a much smaller thing, and it's kind of sad, because like it's like I wanted to spend a lot of time talking about Thanksgiving, but then I kind of realized, well, like it's gonna be like a tiny little endeavor this year anyway, so it's like.
It's an unfortunate happenstance, but hopefully the vaccine next Thanksgiving, that's when we'll pop it.
Yay! Yeah, this is a great note to end the episode on. No, it's not. We still got.
It's not time yet.
No. Thank God we still have time, because otherwise it would be like, well, fuck. Where do we go from here?
Well, I know where to go from here. While we're talking about Thanksgiving, on the topic of food, I have a story I wanted to tell, because it's just so baffling to me that this happened. So, okay. It was Wednesday afternoon. My mom came home and it's like, I'm hungry, let's go get lunch somewhere. I'm like, cool. And we talked and like, let's get lunch from Popeyes. And I'm like, okay, so we order Popeyes, like we like order it online, and because you go and pick it up, it's easy. I go to Popeyes, we got like this like $20. It's like 14 chicken tenders and then 2 sides and like 5 biscuits, like a big dinner thing, and we're just gonna share it and like save the rest for leftovers. So I go to Popeyes to pick it up and I come home. I open up the bag. I take out one of the boxes. Okay, this is the biscuits. Okay, cool. I take out another box. Okay, this is one of the sides. Cool. I take out one more box. Okay, at the last side. There's no fucking chicken. they
Wow.
they gave us they forgot to give us the main fucking course, and it's just like, it's one thing to forget a side, but it's fucking chicken. That's all you do. How do you forget
So,
that?
so this is going to determine how I rank your story, Vino. What did you do in
So
response?
so I got home. I'm just like, first I just took a minute because I was just so baffled that they somehow forgot to put the chicken in. I'm like, okay. So I get back in my car and drive back to Popeyes. The Popeyes about a 15-minute drive, by the way.
Damn.
So I drive back to Popeyes and like, I'm like, I brought my shoe. I'm like, you guys forgot my chicken, and like, they're like, oh shit, we're sorry. And then so they gave us a replacement, and they gave us like, as like an apology, they gave us like 6 extra chicken tenders as a part of like the normal one we already bought, and then like go home and I eat chicken. But yeah, that's my story about how Popeyes forgot to put chicken.
See, here's the thing. Like, I can't even like. Okay, you're right. They were stupid for forgetting it, but I have sympathy for people like that because I worked in food service. So I'm kind of like, yeah, you came like during like the dinner rush. They were
I
probably
didn't though. I
balancing a bunch
didn't though.
of
I
shit.
didn't though. There was no one in there both when I got there and after I left. Both
Okay,
times I
then they're
got
just
there was
incompetent.
literally no one in there. We were the only order.
Okay, yeah, my sympathy for them just like went a lot lower then, because like that's a lot. No, no.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You worked in food services, yeah, Mal?
I did, yes.
Was that like fast food or
Yes, I worked at a Domino's.
okay? How hard is it to understand people like coming over the intercom? Did y'all
There was
have
no,
like a
there was
drive-through?
no. Well, like,
There was no drive-through.
okay, so I never worked in a situation where there was a drive-through. There's no, I at Domino's I answered phones, and then the only places I worked where there was an intercom was when I worked at grocery stores, and that was like over the loudspeaker. So I never had to deal with like wearing a headset, and I didn't have to deal with that. Either people ordered over the phone or they ordered in person.
Okay, because every time I go through a drive-through, I get mistaken for a woman.
I know the story.
Yeah, I told it to Vino the other day. I'm like 100%. Like, well, not 100%, but like 80% of the time, I'll go to like McDonald's, and I think it's because I raise the inflection of my voice because I'm trying to be nice, and they'll be like, "Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get for you?" And I'm like, "Hi, I'd like to get a double cheeseburger, please, and some fries." And they're like, "Yes, ma'am. What else can we get for you?"
You know, I
Like,
can kind of see. Of course, like I'm biased because I don't really hear it that much because I know you. But like if I
yeah.
didn't know you at all and you deal with the shitty quality of the intercom, I can kind of see how that might happen. It's kind
It's
of funny.
it doesn't bother me. Well, it used to bother me a little, and I guess it
Yeah.
does a little bit. But I also think it's very funny. If my sister's ever in the car with me, she just freaking dies laughing every time. And I just have to wonder what they think when I pull up to the drive-through because I am not very effeminate looking at all. Like, I never say anything, but I wonder what's going through their head.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
There's my drive-through story.
I guess I'm kind of lucky because like when you look at like the average dude's voice, my voice is slightly higher, but I at least have it to where like I sound like a dude. And I think for you, like you do sound like a dude, but whenever like you slightly raise the inflection up and then you take it and it's like a shitty quality intercom, you have people who don't know you. It's like a you're like just barely over the threshold. Like it's like just barely. Like what the fuck? It's just bad luck.
It's funny. God.
Yeah. I will tell you what I got whenever I was answering phones at Domino's is there was this woman who would call up every month or so,
Hmm.
and her voice, she clearly sounded like a little girl, like she was 8, 9 years old. I'm not kidding. It was like
Wow.
the highest pitched, squeakiest voice you've ever heard in your life. Like, and she even talked with me briefly on the phone, like, oh yeah, usually whenever I call up places, people are like, oh, could you put your parents on the phone or something? And she's like, no, I'm 43. No, it's more like, no, I'm 43 or something like that. You know, it's even higher pitched than that. I can't even go as high pitched as like that. So it's funny. People have weird voices. That's the moral of the story.
Them wacky voices.
From my experience, if someone's looking you like in the eye and like they're in person, they're a lot more likely to like be patient with you. But when it's over the phone, they're gonna be like, you're not a when you're talking to someone on the phone to them, you're just not like a person. You're just like a magical, mystical voice that represents Domino's or whatever company it is. So like they'll fucking just start trashing you. They don't even fucking care. You're just a magical voice. It is so yeah. It's that if I were to say like that, what is one of the shittiest parts about working like an unskilled labor job? It's having to answer telephones. But yeah, it's my experience. I think the worst thing I had to deal with when I was there was a guy who so he placed like an order. He got like I think like a sandwich or something, and he also wanted like extra marinara sauce on the side or something. And so he drove over and he picked it up because he was out of our delivery range. And long story short, like he calls back up like an hour later screaming at us, screaming at me that we forgot something. We forgot something major in his order. And he wasn't specifying what it was. He was just saying, y'all made a big mistake. Look up my order. Tell me, no, I'm sorry. He had a thick Southern accent. So he was like, you guys forgot something. You guys, you better look at my receipt because I want another order from you guys. And the thing that really blew it up, what really made it crazy, was the guy was saying, okay, I want you guys to deliver it to me. I'm outside of your delivery range, but I want you to deliver it to me because I'm so upset. So I'm like trying to like figure out from the guy, okay, well, we can work something out. Just first tell me what's up, tell me what's wrong. And the guy was very hesitant to tell me what was wrong with it. And I thought that was a little weird. He was just talking very
Yeah.
general. I'm like, okay, sir, we can work something out potentially. Just tell me what's up. Tell me what's missing. And eventually he relented. He told me that, he told me, well, I said that I wanted 5 marinara sauce packets and you guys gave me 3.
Oh, God.
And like, and so it got to the guy was not even freaking cooperating at all. It got to the point where like I had to put the manager on the phone and I could hear the guy like he was cussing him out too. And the guy, long story short, didn't wind up getting what he wanted. So it was there's lots of crazy people out there, man. And it like whenever you work in any kind of like grocery store, fast food place, you get to see all of that on full display. But the silver lining is you kind of learn how to deal with people like that. So it's a learning
And
experience.
an additional silver lining I want to add is it does give you really fun stories. They're not fun at the moment, but
Yeah.
they're really fun to talk about. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, or like for me, like it just kind of gives me an idea. I kind of view it as like, yeah, it's funny, and at the same time, like I can make fun of the person who was shitting on me back then. Like there was a time when I was working there, where one of the regional managers called me boy, and I was like, it was one of those things where like I realized, holy crap, I didn't even realize that me being called that would like invoke like this primal rage inside of me. I didn't do anything with it. I was just like I hadn't been that angry in like probably like at least I want to say at least like a year or two. I was just like, wow, I learned something new about myself today. I want to strangle the next person who calls me boy. So yeah, it's about self-discovery and it's about learning to deal with weird shitty people. So there you go. I guess I could recommend trying to work a job like that at some point, if not just for that element. But if someone tells me fuck you, that's miserable, why would you do that? It's like, Well, I also can't tell you you're wrong. So. Oh man.
Alright, well, we're roughly out of time. We've been going for about an hour. This was a lot more Call of Duty heavy than I honestly expected it to be. But
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
I am sorry if I took up too much time with that, but I had to get it out there. It's been bugging me.
No, I feel you. That's why by the end of it, I was like, okay, like I gotta save. I gotta offer a voice for like the non-Call of Duty enthusiasts in this call, so they don't feel like okay. This is just one of those. Like even still, you could probably call this one just like the Call of Duty episode.
Call of Duty cast coming to you live.
It was our Call of Duty to talk about it.
Yeah.
Ha! I get it.
So it's like
I actually didn't get it at
like,
first, and then they hit me a second time. I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Right. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's just a name. It's like, no, the name's supposed to have meaning.
I forget that's even like a. I honestly forgot I was saying to like right now. Next thing you tell me, the Cold War was real.
Right? God.
I guess you could say that's a hot take as opposed to a cold take. Okay, I want to die. Can we just put him in the episode, please? I feel guilty about making that self-aware joke.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time, which is maybe a Christmas episode? ?
You got to end it with more confidence, Vino. Guys, we'll see you next time. Catch you later, people. Bye. Like that.
Bye.
Have you guys started listening to Christmas music yet?
Some, not consistently.
I heard it on the radio, and then I'm like, fuck, I want to listen to more Christmas music now, but it's too early.
No,
Oh,
okay.
I know, right? Because I haven't heard it in forever, and I love Christmas music. It's just like,
Okay. Cliffhanger, because I actually have a lot to say about this topic, but it's not close enough to Christmas yet,
Ooh.
so get ready
Okay.
for that.
Ooh,
Okay.
it could get into a heated debate about Christmas music. Tune in next time to see Mal be wrong about music again.
Shut the fuck up.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.